I apologize for that. It cut off. So I was, here's where we left off. If you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to the actual Excel sheet um, of the actual Excel sheet of the ARP recovery. And so you're able to access it in case you need more information or in case you want to save it and print or do whatever it is that you need to do with it. But it is by the most absences to the least, not the least, but the next column, which is 10 through 12. And so these are the kids that are at risk of going into ARP or at risk. They're probably already in ARP because they have 10 or more. Remember that at 7 absences, they're already able to get into the program. And so these students, you should be having conversations with parents because they are already considered chronic absences. So ensure parents are aware and make a hospitality check with parents so they understand the importance of attendance. All right, so again, if you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to this Excel sheet that makes up the 10 absences and more. And then, as I was saying earlier, the equal incentive is still exists. You know, it's still we're going strong with it. We're not going to stop. We know that it's working and it's helping, and we're going to continue it. However, there is new eligibility criteria. We want to make sure that the kids are taking it very serious, and so the class must exhibit good behavior throughout the entire 6 weeks. Ms. Diana Rodriguez, our counselor, is going to decide if the class is eligible based on reports and behavior that is sent to the office. The students must stay until 2:30. That's another thing, very important. And so the front office will assess if they're eligible by looking at the students of the week that left before 2:30. And then letter E begins on Mondays and ends on Fridays. So you start all over on Monday. So let's just say you have, Monday through Thursday. You have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Or let's just say it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Somebody doesn't come in. So you don't start the E again here. You have to wait until the following Monday to start the letter E again. All right. So we have to try to push for the students to be here every day on a weekly basis, 5 days consecutively, starting on Monday. So that's what we're trying to push to start over on a Monday, so that you are trying to push the attendance for Monday through Friday. And the students are able to see that everybody's here for the whole week. Therefore, we get an incentive for that. Okay, so then now we're going to talk a little bit about classroom expectations. And we had already discussed this at the beginning of the year. You received a document that said classroom expectations and teacher expectations. And this is the document that talks about the content and language objective. How is it posted? The lesson plan, or how are they posted? Where are they posted? And so we want to make sure that there is some kind of uniformity. We've noticed that when we walk into your classrooms, we have a hard time looking for some of the very important things that guide, right, what we're trying to assess in the classroom. Not evaluate, but in order for us to be able to provide valuable feedback, you need to be able to find some of these very important documents. And sometimes they get lost because they're in different walls or in different places. And so whatever you see scratched out or whatever you see in bold or in yellow, that means that we've added that to the classroom environment expectations and updates. And so something that we're doing is we're passing out, we're going to give every single teacher a document that looks like this at the bottom. It says, what does my day look like today in math? And this is your lesson plan. So we're going to ask that everybody hangs their lesson plans on the door. Now, if you don't have a hanger for your lesson plan for your door, let us know so that we can order one for you. but I believe most of you do because a lot of you have your lesson plan already on your door. A lot of you have it on your bulletin. We're going to ask that everybody please change it to your door, and that you put this sign on top of the lesson plan that it belongs to. Ms. Reyes and Ms. Herrera are working on these for us. They've already printed them, they're laminating them, and they're going to give them to you. So please ensure that you make some space on your door to hang it. Now, we do need to remove the drug-free door already. The doors are not supposed to be completely covered. We are supposed to be able to see through the window. We did get an audit, and we did not pass because of that. So can you please make sure that you remove the door if it is covered before you leave for Thanksgiving break, and that you also work on hanging your lesson plan by the door with this signage right here. I'll see if Ms. Reyes is already ready to pass them out tomorrow or in the following day, but you will all be getting one that looks like this for reading, math, writing, and science. If you only hang the reading and the math, or the reading, math, and the science, because some of you embed the writing and the reading, that is okay. I just wanted to make sure that I provided you with all four in case you had four different lesson plans, because I know that some of you do. Now, the lesson, the content and language objective, not the lesson, this is supposed to say content. The content and language objectives are to be posted and have them visible, ensure that they are student friendly, and ensure that the students understand the noun, what they are expected to learn, and the verb, how they are expected to learn it. So, how are we explicitly telling students what they are expected to learn and how they are expected to learn it for the week? What is it that we do to ensure that this content and language objective is visible to them, that they understand it, that they verbalize it, that they internalize it, and that they ultimately understand it, right? And so we want to make sure that they understand the verb that is in the content and language objective. So in order to do that, you have to make sure that it's visible. Most teachers have a wall that says, "What are we learning today?" And it's on that bulletin board as soon as you walk into your door to the right hand side. If that is where you have it, that is a very good place. However, you want to make sure that you don't have it in the back of the students, that they're facing the content and language objective, that it's not behind them, that it's in front of them. So please make sure you have the sleeves and that you're changing it on a weekly basis, or depending on what you're doing, right? And that students are interacting with it, verbalizing it, writing it, reading it, and thinking about it. Okay, so this is very important. Now, a lot of you have different types of word walls. We've gone through different classrooms, and some of them are very, very interactive. We will be talking more about word walls as we begin to discover and explore a literature by Miss Susie Paulin. And I'm not going to go into that yet, but we are reading on it. It is a very exciting book, and I'm going to show you some strategies from there, some stuff that's very simple, going back to the basics, going back to learning from back when we first started teaching back in the day, or what worked back in the day, right? But it's very, very simple stuff. And so thinking about, how do kids learn, how do kids interact with a word wall? So think about that academic content language, and that vocabulary that they see in reading and math. This vocabulary was provided to you by grade level during planning meetings or during early release, but you do know that it's available in Lead Forward, and it is in the teacher resources in our staff, in our Guerra drive. And so I'll show you where it is right now. Give me a second. You're going to go to Guerra, and then you're going to go to teacher resources. Wait, I think it might be in the November 5th. Sorry about that. Early release action plans, November 5th. Yeah, so the academic vocabulary should be there in all of the November 5th agenda planning. However, you do know that it's leadforward.com, and if you go in there, um, you're able to look at all of the vocabulary that you plan with. And so make sure that Lead Forward is always a part of your resources that you're using when you're planning and when you're using vocabulary. So if you go to Lead Forward and you go to resources, you can see academic vocabulary for kinder through fifth grade. And when you download it, it's a very simple tool that that you can use to ensure that you're using the right language. Okay, so you'll see it right here, what's new to the grade level and what was previously introduced. You're not going to see anything for kinder because it is a kinder new standard. Okay, so going back, sorry about that. Where am I? Here. So I want you to really look at this example right here and take a look at how they use the concept map. They use to look at these words, difference, product, quotient, and they actually give them a specific example of what those words mean. And so for this, the students are able to see, and they're given a visual, which most of them need. And so this is just an example that is very simple to do, and it's not, it's very student interactive, specifically because it's their work, it's work that you're already doing. And so if it is something you're already using, it's as easy as posting it up there as soon as you're done using it. But they're always going back to refer it to them. All right, so this one is about the student work that is posted. Now, this all of the only thing about this, give me a second, hold on. Okay, sorry. We're looking at the student work that is posted. Very simple. So all that needs to be addressed is a standard. What standard is that student work for? So if you look at this example here, it's talking about main idea, and it might not even be a teak from Texas, but we do want. All I wanted you to see was that the informational text is highlighted. So what this does is it provides student an opportunity to see this is a product of this verb. This is a product of what this is expected to learn, even at a kinder level. If you're looking at inferencing, or if you're looking at characters, or identifying characters, or identifying setting, the students work when they're identifying the setting or they're drawing about the setting is a perfect example to put the standard and identify the type of work that the students did to ensure that that standard was addressed. So it's really, really important that the work that we put up is student authentic. That means that, you know, it's coming from them, and that we align it to a certain standard, a TEAC. You can use a sentence strip. You can even put a post-it, but make sure that the standard is there, so that the kids are able to see, the students are able to see that those verbs, these products are originated from this verb, right? From what they were expected to learn. Okay. Now, classroom environment, expectations, and updates. We're still in the same section. These STEM questions or essential questions are already posted on your walls. A lot of you have essential questions in the front of the classroom. The only thing that is different here is that they must be visible to the students. A lot of you have them in the back of the classroom. So please look at, how are they visible to the student? How are they used on a daily basis? Where are they posted? And so some of you use one of those hanging anchor charts, or the ones that are posted in the front of the walls. But again, it doesn't matter how we create them, it's how we use them. And so ensure that there is a section for STEM questions to be generated, where students can always look at the same area for those STEM questions. Don't just add them to the journals. They need to be on the wall. The kids need to relate them to the type of genre or the type of math concept that they're learning. Okay. So in pre-K, kinder, and first, they're mostly essential questions that promote critical thinking skills. And in second through fifth grade, they are your STAR questions. So this is something that we're working with as far as adding them to the genre wall. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to that section. Student desks. Please ensure that students have scaffolding tools. Take a look at your desks. I'm just going to ask that you reflect on that a little bit. Take a look at your desks and what scaffolding tools are available for your kids. When you're speaking and when you're doing whole group, specifically in second through fifth, where they do have desks, even in first grade through fifth, when you're looking at your student desks, what scaffolding tools are available to them? And what do they use in reading and math? Is the number line there? Is the multiplication chart there? Is the addition chart there? Are there any math facts fluency words, or do they have a binder with tools, supplemental aids that they use? So some of you have these tools posted on their desk, and some of you have a binder or have a folder that has tools for them. So when it's time for math, they take out their chart. When it's time for reading, they take out their graphic organizers or their anchor charts. So what kind of tools do we have accessible, available to them always on the go, so that we try to help them bridge the gap, bridge their understanding, so we can help them make a connection with what you're teaching them and what they already know? Okay, so how do you help them think critically? How do you help them connect the thinking where you want them to go? Okay, so this just says, think of table use, center table use, carpet area, literacy corner, station desks. How are they facing you to ensure that they're in the power zone and that it's accessible to you? So to ensure that the power zone is accessible to you, you also have to think of the technology that you're using. So yes, in second through fifth, we've been talking about iPads. We've been talking about removing wires so that you're not stuck to the front of the room. But we are going to speak a little bit more about that once Miss Cruz and Miss Debbie Pingle give you a training on the iPads and the pens and how we can use them to ensure that their interactive lessons with the students, that they're provided an opportunity to integrate technology, and that they're provided an opportunity to enhance their understanding of the concept by using technology. So kind of, just go over this a little bit, reflect on this with your grade level, and think about what is on the glass shield, what is on the desk, what supplemental aids or toolkits do our students have um, to ensure that their area provides them a learning environment that has scaffolding tools available to them on the go. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about data walls, and I'm going to try to go a little bit faster so that we don't take up the whole. I intended to do this in 30 minutes, but technology has stalled me a little bit, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Now, data walls, students must identify individual progress and classroom progress. They need to see how they're progressing, specifically in pre-K, kinder, and first in fluency. Letter sound, letter name, sight words. Second through fifth, we're talking about words per minute in fluency if they are doing fluency, which they should be. And however, some classes are assessing them a little bit more than, and I'm talking about second grade, my bad. That is really assessing that fluency. And so we want to see that progress. The kids want to be able to see that progress. And then in beginning of year and benchmarks, specifically for second through fifth, beginning of year benchmarks, ALI checks for reading and math is more for third through fifth grade. So how are the students able to see their growth? And what is worth them looking at growth? If the ALI checks are not, if you don't think they measure growth that they should be looking at, then maybe it's only in their student portfolios, right? But what is on your wall? They need to be able to see the difference from beginning of year to benchmark 1. So make sure your data wall has space for them to see that progress. So take a look at this question as we go through the data walls that I'm going to show you. Are data walls visible and accessible to us students? Are they alive, and do students interact with them somehow? Okay, so are they live? In other words, are we reviewing them, going over them, and are we reminding students about their progress? How are we taking this opportunity to conference with them so that they continue to see their progress from benchmark or from beginning of year? So these are walls that speak data. A lot of our walls are really creative and cute, and the kids might have had some interaction with it. In other words, they were a part of it. They had some planning to do with it, and so that was neat how we used students also. But take a look at these walls. So would we really the evidence that spoke out loud, right, about it being visible, accessible, and how students interact with them. Take a look at these walls, how the students, it's possible that if they see their name there, they'll understand what progress means as they begin to see the image of it going upwards, right? And so this is only pre-K 3 and pre-K and kinder. And so this is an example of our pre-K and kinder walls, and so we want you to just see how it is that they're progressing, or what kind of data walls they're using, because we know that you don't get to visit their classrooms, and so we wanted to show you that. But know that it is something I'm working on. As we did instructional rounds, I noticed that even for classroom environment, for the energy level in the classroom, I am going to start scheduling some classroom visits, even across grade levels. Kinder going to fifth going to kinder, first going to third going to fourth, and so different things like that. So we'll be looking at different ways and different opportunities to take you all to different classrooms. Now, these are also walls that speak data. This is first grade. So first grade is a little bit different because it's talking about reading. And high frequency words, right? And so this is the high frequency words, and this is their actual DRA levels. So the level of the reading. So you'll see 2 examples here. You'll see a Spanish and an English. And so I kind of just want you to see that in this case, they did numbers. so the kids know their numbers. But again, we want you to, how would you capture this to the middle of the year? How do the students capture where they are right now and then see the progress to the second time that they get assessed? And so we want to, of course, see that they're moving up, but maybe capturing a picture and reminding them, look, you were here at once. Now you're over here. So ensuring that they understand the difference from where they were at one point and how they continue to escalate. Second grade, you begin to see star data, right? Star data walls, and so we're looking at how these kids are having the opportunity to see, the different levels. Again, I like that there's percentages because the kids are able to see what percentages they need in order to attain that level. And again, they're also doing fluency and high frequency words. But again, just kind of think about, how do I give students the opportunity to see where they were before and how they're moving up and where they're going. This is a third grade example. This is very interactive because she's able to move it and unplug it from the wall and put it in different areas. It's also, I think, very teacher friendly because she's able to title it different titles. For example, here she was very specific and said this was Los Juguetes. This was the story. And so hopefully by after CBA 1, they're able to see how, okay, I'm still in this level, but at least the percentages are getting a little bit higher. And so very, very important that you see how the kids are interacting with it. Okay. And so this is now fourth grade. Again, you begin to see the level a little bit more different. You see, again, the masters, the meets, the approaches, and the did not meets. And you can see that they're all color coded by the actual levels from lead forward, which is what we want to see. I love that we see a lot of their names, their grades, because the kids do need to see what their models are. Where am I going next? What do I need to be doing? And so ensure that they, again, you either take a picture of this and keep it somewhere so that they can see this is where we were at this point and where are we going next. They need to be able to see that progress. Fifth grade, again, you're able to see that that progress from level to level. Just kind of make sure that, again, they see the next level in terms of where I once was and where I'm going next. Okay. And now we're going to talk a little bit about computer programs, iStation, Imagine Math, to be more specific. And something that I want you to pay close attention to is, give me a second. I want to say this is not supposed to be there. I think we're still not done with that part. Okay, yeah. So I believe we're not there yet. We're not in computer programs yet, but I'll go back to it if I have to. We talked a little bit about the scaffolding tools that are available to them on their tables and on their desks. So I brought it up again, but I think the purpose of putting this slide here was to show you an example. So if you look at this student kit, I don't want you to give them too much. This is, you don't want to bombard them either, because then they're using all kinds of things and we only want them using what they always use. We just want it to be accessible and we want them to be accessible to them, and that it is the tool that they use on a daily basis. All right. And so make sure we're going to calibrate on what kind of toolkits you guys have already created or you need, or we're helping you create right now. I know I'm working with third through fifth on those toolkits. I'm going to introduce them to second as well. Because I do want those kids already being exposed to the type of graphic organizers that are being used in second, third, fourth, and fifth. It is important that the grade level chairs at least will meet together so that you can see the type of graphic organizers that are used, because we do want to see that alignment from grade level to grade level. We want the students to see the same things again, for the information to be so that they're familiar with it when they get to the next grade level, right? And so the math graphic organizers don't change very much. but the reading ones do. And so we do want to calibrate on those, and we will provide some time for that. But these are the types of tools that we're looking at to provide in their folders, but we do want to make sure that these toolkits are available to them to be using on a daily basis. Now, these were just some of the teacher expectations as you're planning, some things to look at, some things to remember that are very, very important. The lesson cycle. What does your 90-minute look like? How much do I spend on the hook, the video, the bell ringer, or the success starter? On the I do, the we do, or the you do. Just remember that the lesson cycle doesn't start on a Monday and end on a Friday. The lesson cycle is every day, right? In a 45-minute block. And so try to stay away from that, a level of, there's still rigor on a Monday. It's not just introducing on a Monday. There is still a level of rigor as far as letting it go, them creating the questions, them speaking the language. And so, how do we ensure that the 90-minute is still, I do, we do, you do, even if it is introduction on a Monday? So, let's think about that, and let's reflect as we plan out our Monday through Friday. Be prepared for the week and all subjects with materials needed for each lesson and activity. Ensure that you're prepared and ensure that the students are paying attention to the noun and the verb and the standard, specifically to the activity that the students are doing. So very simple. Highlight the verb and highlight the noun in the content objective. What are they supposed to be learning and how are they supposed to be learning it? The noun is the what and the verb is the how. And so ensure that the students understand it, and if they don't, we need to help them provide synonyms or different ways to make it student friendly so they understand what they're expected to learn in that week. Everybody does a very good job being in the power zone, where we have to think about, okay, how are they accessible to the students at all times? Checking for understanding. We're looking at essential questions throughout the lesson. Do we stop and give them wait time? What does the wait time look like? Are we not rhetorically answering our own questions by asking too many questions at the same time? How do we ensure that we provide adequate wait time to promote critical thinking? Let them think about it, right? And then what is in front of the student when the teacher is talking? How do they process and capture important information that you're talking about? What is in front of them? What does their journal look like? Is there a reading journal and a math journal? Is there a science journal? What is in front of them when the teacher is talking about something that's very important? And what are they expected to do at that point? The implementation of technology, students interacting with technology, hands-on, are those opportunities there? And if they are there, how are they using it to enhance their understanding of the concepts? Who is speaking the academic content language? How do we promote student speaking the academic content language? So how do we ensure that we provide the opportunity for students to talk about what you are saying? And then how is authentic student responses being captured? If you're getting very, very good responses, how are we capturing them? How are we ensuring that the students have the opportunity to write those down or to put them on an anchor chart, on a chart paper, as they're saying those responses? How are anchor charts being created and being utilized in class? How are they accessible to the student? Okay, and so I think this is where the last part of classroom expectations was over. I think it was just in the wrong place. As far as schedules, we want to talk about just a new change is that library in the meantime, until the end of the year, until the end of December is what I mean, will be run by Miss Arredondo. And so she's going to be providing library for your students, and she's doing a fantastic job. I want everybody to give her a round of applause. She's doing a really, really good job. She's learning a lot from Miss Cruz, and Miss Cruz is helping her fill in that vacancy for right now, just because we understand the need for that, for AR, and for the students to have that time to be involved in literacy activities. We've also included the Cambium Lab that's led by Ms. Cruz. That's very, very important because the students are being provided the opportunity to engage with the Cambium tools and the passages that are available for the students to practice the STAR online tools. Also, you can find these schedules in schedules. So if you click on here, it's going to take you to campus schedules. Okay, so just make sure that that when you receive the PDF or PowerPoint version, if you could put it on present mode, it will let you click and take you to the right place. Now, all of these have links. I wanted to provide you the links again because it is important that this folder right here is always accessible to you. It should be your Bible. It is where we keep everything. It is something you access daily. So you shouldn't have to look for it in your drive. It should be there all the time. Lesson plans, you can click on it. Attendance, document absences only, progress monitoring, it's the same folder. I will be providing feedback on progress monitoring as we are looking at the classes that are behind either in reading or in math. So make sure that you are keeping your progress monitoring up to date. Teacher resources, this is something that we've been adding as we go. So you can go here, even Adopt a Child is here. Second through fifth grade resources, STAR resources, instructional practices just have some. Oh, this is actually the document that I was going over right now. And so there's different stuff here that you can look at. And then you go back, assessment and TELPUS. The assessment folder has a folder inside called TELPUS. And so if you go into TELPUS, you'll see some of the TELPUS practices and everything that we're going to do with TELPUS. This is a new PowerPoint that I just added, and we will be touching base on that one. And then November 5th has a lot of the early release action plans. So a lot of the stuff that you just planned. But I want you to know that in this folder are all the action plans that you've submitted in October and in November. And this was the first one that you submitted in September. So if you need to go back to that data or those action plans, if you ever need to go back to print out documentation or anything like that, it should be there. And then we have calendars. We also have a folder where all the calendars for each month have been there in case parents have questions or they ask you anything about that. All right, we're looking at the reading genre wall examples. This is specifically more, well, it's for kinder through fifth. There is genre in every grade level. So we kind of want you to look at how they are being internalized. And so giving the students the option or the accessibility, right, to see how they connect with one another. I really love this way of posting a genre wall because I do know that there is a lot of content academic vocabulary that transfers from genres, and so it's very important that that the students understand that nonfiction is now informational, right? And so fiction and informational, and what are the types of stories or text or information that is provided on there. And so we'll be providing some of this information for you. But if you click on this link here, it's going to take you to what we are working with second through fifth. We're going to be helping them create one wall in one of the classes in each grade level. So there will be a model classroom in each grade level from second through fifth. And then we're going to start with just one classroom, and then we're going to start building on the rest of the classes. But we are going to start with one classroom. So the image is there again, right, so that you can see it. But we do have these here for you, and we are going to be printing them for you. But we are only printing out the ones that are in the new teaks. This is just something that we wanted you to look at, and very important that you understand that, if you see here, there are little stories attached to it, there's post-its, and so that we know that it's student interactive and they're using it because it is about what they're learning. As you can see here, they've been posting the stories that they've been reading. And so this is also an opportunity to put the STEM questions as well, maybe through post-it or maybe through I don't know, typed out or written out in a sentence strip. But this is an opportunity for students to see the connections within the genre. Okay. Computer programs, we're specifically talking about iStation and Imagine Math. And so I wanted to let you know that I'm very, very proud of our benchmark and our ISIP test, our ISIP assessment in iStation. All these classes did very, very well. Everybody that is in green had 100 of the students take the test. That is awesome. Remember that this is a pathway. That means that once they take the assessment, it takes the students through the level that they're at, and right. And so we'll be talking about those Lexile levels soon. So it's very important that they're all assessed. We do have a little surprise for these kids. I will be talking to Ms. Cruz about providing them an incentive, so we'll be talking about that. But these are our top boy and girl in iStation and iStation Espanol. So these are the most usage combined with the lessons passed. And so this is the most usage all the way from the first 6 weeks until now. All right, so a round of applause to these kids. They did a wonderful, wonderful job. And then Imagine Math Benchmark Complete. These are the number of students that have completed the benchmark. So we'll be looking at your enrollment and to see who's missing in the math benchmark. I'll be talking to Ms. Betty about it and Ms. Cruz to see how it is that we're going to incentivize these students that are doing a very good job at continuing to work on this at home. This is Imagine Math most lessons passed. And so we're also looking at what kind of incentives we're going to provide these kids. But these are the students that have the most, not the most lessons attempted, but the most lessons passed. So it's very important that is understood. These are the kids that have the most lessons passed. And so I did want to provide you with that evidence. So if you click on this link here, it's going to take you to the Excel sheet of it is in order by the student with the most lessons passed. And so if you look at this column right here, it's going to show you the students with the most lessons passed, and is in order by the most lessons passed. Okay, so it is a live document. You can go in there and look at it whenever you have time. We did talk about instructional rounds. I'm not going to go through these because this is very important information. I do want to sit with your grade level and talk a little bit more about what the instructional rounds were, what they meant, and where we're going next with them. And so I want you to just please read through these next slides. They talk about high quality instruction, what they require, what the focus is specifically in rigor. Milan, please listen. Okay, and so we are going to look at how we are going to do them next and what next steps we're going to provide from the ones that we already attempted. And so something that as we did the instructional rounds, you noticed that we were looking a lot at the teacher, the content, and the student. So I want you to think about that concept, and I want you to think about how we align all three. What are we looking for? Content, what are we looking for? Students, what are we looking for? And teacher, what are we looking for? And so, like I said, I do want to go through this a little bit more closer in person with you. And so I will be sitting with you as a grade level, and we will be talking a little bit more about it because it is very different. Each instructional round was very different because the needs are very different at every grade level. So that's why I want to do this as a grade level. But I did want to provide you with a PowerPoint anyway. So these are the slides that I'm going to go over. Teach more of how to get the answer, and instead support students with the ability to access concepts from a number of perspectives. How to get the answer. So kind of just think about that. And then, so this is like the student work, right? How much time do I spend on how to get the answer? Not so much the content, but the how. And then the conceptual understanding that supports the other aspects of rigor, which is fluency and application. And this is fluency and application, right? So the accuracy, the fluency allows students to better understand and work with more complex concepts because they understand it. And so these are just instructional rounds, next steps. How do I know that all students have opportunities to exhibit core content processes while engaging with the lesson? Are questions and problems written that prompt students to share their thinking? What strategies are used to encourage collaboration? Do students explain their thinking? How do they do that? How do they explain their thinking? Do students talk about each other's thinking? Do they persist in solving challenging problems? Does the teacher connect students' informal language to precise academic language? That's very important. The synonyms that they use, like informally, to what I'm understanding, that's academic and content. Do you hear both teachers and students using the academic language? That one I highlighted in red because it's very, very important that the students are speaking the academic content language. And then how are you choosing tools appropriately? Scaffolding tools, graphic organizers, so that the kids continue to use them to understand content. So the next steps, we're going to look at these 6 key principles. And again, I'm going to do this by grade level because they are very different at every grade level, because of the rigor and because of the depth of knowledge. And then as a group, we brainstorm we brainstorm immediate and long-term actions. So what are some immediate actions and long-term actions? I'm going to sit together with leadership team, go over some of the things that were identified in instructional rounds and think about, okay, what do we do immediately right now to ensure that we turn this around? And what are some long-term actions that we can continue to work on? And so these are some of the things that were talked about: the pacing of the lesson, specifically to guerra, right? Specifically to the rounds that we did do. Looking at the starters, how much time do we spend on the ringers, on the bell ringers, or on the starters? And then scaffolding tools. I've been speaking to each of you about that. Students' academic vocabulary, the teacher, what is she doing, and the content. How do I make the noun and the verb explicit to the student? And then the anchor charts. So thinking about how do I use anchor charts to build on their content academic vocabulary, and how do we use anchor charts to build their math facts fluency. So this is what we're going to reflect on with the teacher as a grade level. And this is what we're going to reflect as administration. But I do want you to be aware. I want you to be in the loop as what is administration going to do? This is what teachers are going to talk about. This is what administration is going to talk about. So administration leadership team, we're going to talk about acceleration. How do we use acceleration to immediately get students moving in the right direction? Acceleration versus remediation, right? Remediation is going backwards. Acceleration is going forward. Making standards and learning goals explicit to students. Are they understanding their learning goals? Encouraging students to persevere rather than give up. How do we encourage that? And what are we doing as an administration team to ensure that that's happening? Addressing the problem skill gaps within the context of new learning. This is very important. How do we address the gap that they have? If they're not on grade level, how do we address that gap within the context of new learning? In other words, there's a new concept or a new skill, right, in reading and math. However, so you got to stay in the lane, right? Because I got to keep going. I got to teach this grade level. But there's a gap. So how do I teach that to address that problem within the context of the new learning? So we're going to be talking about that. And then improving students' vocabulary. So this is key for me. Looking at strategies and how can we roll out a vocabulary implementation plan? What kind of a plan are we going to implement to ensure that it's at low risk for the teacher? In other words, it's not something additional that you're doing, but that it's embedded in what you do already. And so administration is going to be talking about these 5 concept things, and we're going to be talking with grade level chairs with some of this information so that we can roll it out to the teachers. With this acceleration versus remediation, I want you to know that everything that I'm talking to you about comes from Susie Pepper Rollins. And she's a very, very popular author. I am obsessed with her right now in terms of the learning and the research behind the COVID slide, everything that happened, the gap, the big gap, how it grew bigger and bigger. And what do we do now? What are the things that we do now to ensure that we accelerate and that we address problems of skills gaps within the context of new learning? And so I am going to take you through this it's going to be nice, and I'm excited for this, and I hope that you all are excited with me in this new learning journey, where we're going to be taking a look at these strategies from this book, from this author. So if you all love reading as much as I do, this is going to be one of the books that we're going to be looking at together as a school. So I'll be touching base on this, but this is not going to happen until we get back from Christmas break in January. However, I do want to introduce it to you already, and I just want to at least to bring it out there so you understand who the author is, and hopefully you're as excited as I am. And so oh yeah, now it goes into the calendar. But before we do that, I want to just express here learning in the fast lane. I'm going to do what you all do with your students when you ask them to predict about a book. I even see this in kinder and in pre-K when they're doing read alouds. They ask them to predict, what is this going to be about? What is this going to be? If there's a bear, oh, it's going to be about a bear. If there's wolves, there's going to be wolves. If there's lions, it's going to be about lions. You see two people. Who do you think they are? And so take a look at this title, Learning in the Fast Lane. So I'm going to be asking you soon, what do you think this book is going to be about? Learning in the Fast Lane. What does this mean to you? So just kind of reflect on that a little bit. And to finalize the last slide, it's about the events, the calendars, the important dates to remember. I do want to let you know that tomorrow on Thursday, I'm hoping that you see this tomorrow during your conference or when you have time. And if you're able to see it tonight, great. But I will be sending the schedule out. These are the Thanksgiving theater choir performances. Thursday, students will see performances in the following schedule. So we're excited because our theater choir is going to put a little skit for them, and we want to give them a huge round of applause already for just their participation, their hard work in putting this together. I did want them to put something together as part of Literacy Month. Thank you all for engaging in Literacy Month. Ms. Soledad, Ms. Cruz, y'all are doing an amazing job working with those kids to engage them with these literacy daily activities. But most importantly, this Thursday, if you look at the literacy calendar, we did say that Thursday was Readers Theater Literacy Skit. And so we're excited for it. It is also to promote Literacy Night. And so the students will get a chance to see it. We're super excited about it. And Friday, our staff is going to get to see it through their lunch, through their awesome luncheon that we're going to have for our Guerra family. And so as you sit down to have a nice lunch, you're going to be able to see the performances and see the students perform. I think that's going to be really nice, specifically because a lot of these kids were yours. If your teacher's in pre-K, kinder, and first or in second, and for some of you, these are your students right now. And so that's really important that they see them perform. I know that a lot of them want you to see them. And so I thought that would be especially important right now during as we get near to this Thanksgiving holiday season, right? And so the rest are just calendars of important dates to remember. Make sure that you put these on your calendar. It talks about tutoring. It talks about no tutoring, clubs and organizations. It talks about in red are the assessments. Very important that everybody understands what's going on. Even pre-K through first needs to understand that they're very important dates because they have siblings. And then these right here are actual trainings. So make sure you write those down. But I will tell you if it is during the day or after school. I want to say that the refresher and accommodations is through CLC. And the speaking interim TELPAS assessment will be after school. So let me make sure about the time, and I'll get back to you on that. Now, other important dates to remember, December the 15th, our choir will be performing. We're super excited for them for the Choir Holiday Festival. And then December the 16th is the PSJ Family Posada. And we are going to be selling stuff. We're also going to be having an information booth and food sales. I really, really highly recommend for you all to show your face. Go for a little while, take your kids, take your family. It's supposed to be really nice. It's from 6 to 9. And so we're excited to be out there. I am going to ask support staff and some of the staff to attend. I will be also asking some of our amazing instructional aides and paraprofessionals to help us But the teachers are more than welcome to go and take their families. But I do highly recommend that they show up so that the kids and our families can see them out there showing their guerra pride. And then December the 17th, which is the last day before Christmas break, is our fifth grade posada. This is going to their graduation. And so we are giving them that day to do a posada all day. And so they'll be providing more information on that. Now, the last thing is you are to click on this form and vote on the Christmas theme of the year. So we are excited that we're already, can you believe we're already here voting for the Christmas theme of the year? Time has flown by. Um, I'm sorry I took longer than I should have. It's very important information, but it's still better to do it this way virtually because I know that I'm still able to give you the opportunity to go through this as fast as you can or go back and see it when you can because it is a recording. So you can continue to go back and jot down important information. When you meet with your grade level, this is always accessible to you, this recording, and so you're able to go back and look at this information. So I hope that I get to see all of you at our Thanksgiving lunch, and I know I am. And so I'll stop by if I can and when I can as you're having lunch. But enjoy. This is for you. We are very thankful for you. And so just a last little quote here. May the beauty and blessings of Thanksgiving bring warmth and peace to your home this season. We love you all very much. We care about you, and we want to ensure that you completely disconnect this week and you spend this beautiful time with your family. Many of you know we've been through it already, a lot of you, and we've been through it with you. We've lost family members, very close ones, not only to COVID, but to God, right? God's timing. And I think we can all attest to the idea that there's nothing more important than family. So ensure that you do spend this quality time at home and that you completely disconnect from anything that has to do with your work. So thank you all so much. We hope you have a beautiful, beautiful Thanksgiving break. Goodbye, you all. Okay, so Milan, now you can scream all of you want. I'm going to stop presenting and I think I stopped. Did I stop? No, I didn't.